Button on.
Okay.
Action!
Okay.
Okay, I'd like to speak to y'all a little bit about Peace Lutheran Church, a little bit about the origin of it. If you're kind of wondering why I'm sitting here decked out in fatigues, I'm also working with the children's place downtown. We've got some 60 or 80 young kids that came from the Methodist Church in Houston, working up yonder restoring the kids' place that was torn up pretty badly after the storm, and giving them an opportunity to do everything and learn the proper way to do everything. So it's all hands-on for all the kids, and it's a learning experience. And so I'll be going directly from here over there, working with them for the next 4 days, trying to restore the children's place. But back to Peace Lutheran. It obviously was founded, we had our 100th anniversary, October of 2016. And so the church was founded in October of 1016. And at that time, they met mostly in community centers and wherever they could find a place to meet for church on Sunday. And it was later into the early 30s before we actually got a building of our own. And then a little bit after that, they built this structure right here that we're presently residing in. And we're very proud of the heritage that we have, and the fact that our little church has been here in this community to do good and do our work for a little over 100 years. During the hurricane, I stayed here along with other folks during the storm, and immediately on that Saturday morning after the winds had died down to probably 60 or 70 miles an hour, I couldn't stand any longer, so I had to come up here and look at the church and see, what kind of damage we sustained and if there was something that, could be saved. And so I rushed. I just live about a block from here, and so I rushed over here thinking that our Caroline system, which is 4 big speakers on top of the church, which is mounted directly over our altar, I was thinking that they'd probably be gone and there'd be a gaping hole in the roof, and we would lose the front part of our church. But when I got here, to my amaze, the cross we have on the front of the church has got a neon cross in the middle of it, and the little blue neon cross, after 130 mile an hour winds, was still burning. And so that gave me some hope. And so I rushed inside the church and noticed that there was not a drop of water leaking in to the inside of the church. The altar and everything was in place. The candle holders, everything, the Bible, everything was still sitting just as it is now. And I just couldn't hardly believe it. And then it dawned on me that something didn't look right. And so I looked at the Christ statue up on the altar and noticed that it had turned almost 90 degrees straight into the wind with his hands up. And so it just sent chills down my spine. You can call it what you want, but to me it was just astonishing and amazing, and I just thought of it as he calming the winds, within the church and protecting the church. And was so thankful for that part. And when I walked into the education building attached next to the church, the part of the roof had blown off of it, and there was water pouring out of every ceiling tile in the education building. And one good thing, we've been talking about replacing the double doors in the education building, because the gaskets underneath were gone, and they hung a little crooked on the hinges, and so they didn't fit very well. Well, all the water that was pouring in the ceiling, rather than get caught up inside the building, it was running out the front door. So our paneling didn't take any hickey. It was all, no water was standing up on the paneling or got into any of the walls. So that was amazing to realize that. And so we were able to recover from that through our insurance that we had. We sustained, pretty good bunch from our deductibles, but we overcame that through contributions of people. We had other churches that stepped right up and donated us money. We had a church at Mason, and Mason donated all the money from the Lenten services that they collected to go to Peace Lutheran for the Hurricane Fund, and they sent us a check for $3,000, which was just amazing. And we had the church from Huddle that called us up and got involved, and they sent us a nice check too for about, I think it was somewhere around $1,300 that they collected from the congregation. And then the bishop's office up in Seguin, Bishop Gentleman contacted me, and they sent us money down here for recovery for people that needed it for immediate needs that they had due to the hurricane loss. And we helped some of them out, had to have the trailer was completely destroyed, and they put a new trailer in and didn't have enough money to build a porch on the front of it. So we provided money there for the porch to be on. We had another young lady, and she took a lot of damage on her house, and when she got through with the insurance money, she didn't have enough to complete the inside house. So we donated money to her so that she could finish up the inside part of her house. And then there were other individuals that we helped out in their needs, but those are some of the major ones to help get their feet on the ground, and they've all been eternally thankful for what we have done. But we have been so blessed here for 101 years that and been part of this community and try working with the community, that we just felt like that was our calling, and the need was there. And after all, I mean, what is the basic standard, of the church if it's not helping those people that are in need and need help, and in times of despair and when they're not able to provide for themselves. And so a little bit, I guess, about me. My family moved here before Woodsboro was built in 1906, and Woodsboro was built in 1907, and Dad was 7 years old, and he moved here from Rungy, Texas, and he was born in 1899. So he always wanted to live to be 100 years old so he could live in 3 centuries, but he didn't make it. He didn't get close, so we've been part of this community, for my whole life. I've spent here, except for 9 years that I left and went to work for Dow Chemical and then came back to the area. But lived here all my life, and my brothers and sisters have lived here, their whole lives too. So our family is deeply entrenched in the community, and so I became president of the council 4 years ago, and so I just pretty much have, I lost my wife 4 years ago too, and then I just kind of put my heart and soul into the church and the community work, and that's what I enjoy doing, and that's what I'll probably do, until my work is done here and he calls me home. But we've been extremely lucky. About 25 years ago, our church attendance dropped below that of the attendance where you could self-sustain yourself as a congregation. And part of that was not due that you had to drop so much as to, you could afford a pastor, and maybe I shouldn't get into this, but it's part of being a little church. You can afford the salary, and but then you have to think about, you have insurance, you've got housing, you've got retirement. Time you add all that into it, which a lot of that, in the earlier days when the cost of living was not that high, you can maintain all that, but when you reach a level where that's not sustainable. So the Lutheran Church, our synod, came out with a SAMS program where it's a synodically authorized minister, and after a while, in a little bit, I'll let Joanne, when she speaks, talk a little bit more about that, about what goes on there. But it was a way for small churches to have well, we like to say pastor, but and essentially that's what she is, a leader within the church, and be able to afford that and have what we have called full-time person. And that's kept us going. We've gone through about 5 of them now. We started out with the first one ever ordained or graduated, however you want to put it. And so the Senate has just really worked with us and kept us going. And that's all part of what makes us great and keeps us here, because it's all hands-on here. Nothing works here except if it's all done by the people in the church and the congregation, because they're the people that makes it all happen. And so we're just really a happy family, and we have fun together. We have our game nights and everything. And you know, sometimes it's fun. Sometimes you leave your feelings at home if you get them hurt. So, but it's all just a happy time, and we have lots of time together, and we take on projects, and we still, from the hurricane, we still the insurance paid for 2/3 of our Caroline system that got destroyed, but we got donations enough to buy the whole system back, and so we're just waiting a little bit more time. We'll have that installed, and we're just about caught up from what damages we've had from the hurricane. But our church is going to be whole again. We'll be back just like we were, but a little bit better than before. And so that's pretty much what I have to say about Peace Lutheran. And